Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome to a new YouTube video. Today I'm in a new location. Last episode I did record in my new apartment where I am now, and this is also a new location of my apartment that I thought I would use to record as well. As you can tell, got some nice greenery over here and a TV remote that is not supposed to be there. Anyways, welcome to episode 4 of my contest prep series. I've been going through my deload this week, so this is my deload for my first mesocycle of training. I pretty much took this week nice and easy. I'm gonna walk you guys through how I did my deload, how I recommend you guys to do a deload, and why I actually do them. The reason that I deload is to bring down fatigue that I accumulate over the training mesocycle. So usually my mesocycles are anywhere from like 3 to 6 weeks. Usually I don't go longer than 6 weeks, and I definitely wouldn't go shorter than 3 weeks. Typically it's around like 4 to 5. This last mesocycle was 5 weeks, and now I'm going into my deload, or I am in my deload during week 6 of my training. So as I said, deloads are there to bring down accumulated fatigue that I get over like the past few weeks of training. And I've heard people say that they don't need deloads or they never deload, and that probably means that 1, they're either not training hard enough, or 2, those deloads are happening somewhere in their training when they don't mean to. So it's either you choose to deload or your body chooses when to deload for you. Like for example, you go through 8 or 10 weeks of training and you make a lot of really good progress through that, and then at some point your training like stalls really hard where like, you know, your performance is way worse than it was the week before, and you're just like, oh, like I don't know what's going on. So you like stop doing that workout, maybe skip the gym for a couple days and then come back. That is a deload right there. Deloads don't have to be like a week long, and they don't need to be so black and white. Some people like to take a week off of training completely, and that totally can act as a deload. It's not, you know, as optimal because you aren't going to be maintaining the fitness that you have when you're actually training. But yeah, deloads are super necessary. If you don't do deloads, I highly recommend getting those into your training, whether that be, so yeah, this week I've been deloading. Usually I would be at like maintenance calories for a deload, but since I'm in contest prep and I do have a deadline coming up, aka the show, Sam and I decided that we were going to continue pushing the deficit a little bit throughout this deload. So I actually got my calories dropped, and it's been really interesting to see where my body weight goes as fatigue drops. So one of the main reasons people go up to maintenance calories during a deload is to drop diet fatigue as well. So not only do we want to drop training fatigue, but we also want to drop diet fatigue if we're in a cut. And personally, I have not been experiencing any sort of diet fatigue. Like I'm not super hungry. I'm certainly craving shit. Like I would love to eat a donut right now, but because in this past mesocycle, I spent the first 2 weeks right around like maintenance or in a very slight deficit. I started this mesocycle at 3,600 calories, and now I'm ending the mesocycle at like 2,600. So that's like 1,000 calorie difference. That seems like a ton, but in those first couple weeks, I just didn't lose the amount of weight that we wanted to. So we ended up having quite a few drops throughout the mesocycle in calories, and therefore my diet fatigue isn't too crazy. Training fatigue got somewhere because, you know, obviously I trained really hard in that last week. If you guys have not seen that last video, I definitely recommend checking it out. I fail on the pendulum squat, I fail on machine pressing, I fail on pretty much everything in that video. So if you want to see me fail, that's a good video to watch. But yeah, long story short, we decided to continue pushing the deficit throughout this deload, and I've been feeling pretty good, but weight did drop quite a bit. So I was averaging around like 183, 184 at the start of the deload, so back in like week 5 of training. And then as training fatigue drops, usually you also drop a lot of water from edema and other things. So like when you're training really hard, your muscles are all going to be inflamed, there's going to be a lot of water in them, but then once you're in a deload and you're actually dropping fatigue, that kind of shit can just get shuttled out, and you just don't have a lot of inflammation anymore, not a lot of edema left over from the workouts that you did. So this week my workouts have been super easy, and for that reason I lost quite a bit of weight. So I'm actually around 181 pounds, which is down like 2 pounds in just like a week. So that was pretty crazy for me. I was a little bit surprised by it because it was quite the drop, and actually today I weighed in at 179.8 pounds. I didn't say that was what my weight is because it's not. That's just like the transient weight of today, and that's not, you know, taking into account like averages and things like that. But it was a little surprising to me to like see that my body weight dropped that much. I was like, holy fuck. But I talked with Sam, and that kind of thing totally can happen. That's really just my body dropping all that excess water, and I'm really flattening out. So like today I was feeling like flat as shit. And towards the latter half of this deload, so I'm actually gonna talk about how I do them. I, have super easy workouts. So I do half the reps, I do half the sets, and I also do half the weight. Towards the start of the week, I actually use the same amount of weight that I used during the last week of training. I dropped the volume in half, and I also dropped the reps down quite a bit. So the first half of the week is keeping load there, but dropping fatigue via less volume. So less sets, less reps. And through those less reps, it's obviously quite a bit further from failure. And the main reason I do that is to maintain the fitness that I have for the next mesocycle. So if you take a week off, for example, chances are you are going to be like getting in the gym on that Monday and being like, holy shit, I haven't been here in a week. Like, I don't know what everything's gonna feel like. I don't remember what technique feels good for me on this exercise. I don't remember what load feels like on this exercise, etc. So having the start of the week where you actually still use a decent amount of weight and train that way and drop fatigue by other means through, sets or reps, and that allows you to maintain a certain level of strength and a certain level of neural adaptation. So I think it's really important to usually go this way if you're like a beginner or intermediate. I think taking this route is probably the best idea. There are quite a few other ways you can deload. I would really recommend checking out RP's YouTube channel to learn about the different ways of deloading and what makes most sense for you, because you may or may not be in the same situation as me where this kind of deload made the most sense for me. But yeah, other than that, I've been feeling really good. I haven't been feeling a ton of diet fatigue. I haven't been like getting shitty sleep. I haven't, been just craving food constantly. Like, I've been very busy with other things in my life, like my class, self-improvement, etc., to where food really isn't a huge focus of mine. I'm definitely not food focused right now, although, sometimes I am. But on a more overall note, I'm definitely not super food focused. I think that's definitely gonna change towards the, close to the end of prep, maybe at some point throughout this next mesocycle, but I'm definitely not there yet. So I've kind of been chilling. I am going to show you guys some videos from last week, which I did not post in my video last week, but this is training from my week 5 of my mesocycle where I was going to failure. I just wanted to show these exercises just because they are exercises that I think I really need people to see, because it really shows how hard training actually is and how hard science-based training really is. I feel like oftentimes people view science-based training as easy training, but really it's using good technique. It's using a technique that accurately stimulates a target muscle, and at points in time you do go to failure. 3 reps in reserve is a lot further than you think. I would say I definitely undershoot my RIR quite often. Like, there are times in a mesocycle where I just focus on improving from the week prior, and then I actually get to the end of the set and I finish, and then I realized oh, that was definitely not the RIR I was going to. I might have been going to 2 reps in reserve, but I actually end up going to 4 reps in reserve. And that's actually quite a big difference. So I think oftentimes people view science-based training as easy training, when that's certainly not the way it is. If you actually know what failure is like, and you actually know what technical failure is like, then 3 reps in reserve is not going to be easy for you. And right now I'm also going to show you guys some pictures from this week that Sam took of me at Fit City, so I can show you guys where I'm at leanness wise, and things are changing. I don't know, prep is interesting because you're losing weight, you feel small, but in pictures you look big as shit because you don't have as much fat on you, obviously, and muscles just look so much crazier when you're lean. And especially once I'm filled out from peak week, I think things will look really cool. And also I still have quite a bit of body fat to lose, so once I lose all that body fat and then fill out in peak week, things are gonna be pretty crazy. Alright guys, so this has been the video for this week. It's definitely a shorter one. This is not a 27-minute video like the other ones that I've made. I hope you guys do enjoy those though, and if there's anything you guys want to know about my prep, definitely ask in the comments down below, and if you want it to be covered in a YouTube video, also specify that with your question. I'm more than happy to answer questions during these videos because I really like talking about my prep, I really like talking about my training, and if there's anything that I can help you guys with, I would love to be the person to help you. Also, if you guys don't know, I do offer online coaching. So if anyone is interested in some online coaching, check out my website. It's just max.strazny.com. The link is in the description as always. But if you want to check that out, definitely feel free. I do have some open client spots right now. So if you want to check it out, go ahead and do that. And I look forward to possibly working with you. But yeah, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Comment if you want to. It all helps support the channel. Anyways, man, I'll catch you later. Peace.